Let's move it, Tim. Yeah. A detective's gotta be quick on his feet. Ah!
Oh, there you are.
When I first saw the concept for Detective Pikachu, I was in. Although the idea of a talking Pikachu who solves crimes with a young boy named Tim to raise some eyebrows, I dug the Sherlock look on the old rat. And since many Pokemon have talked to this point by the way of the series and its various films, Entei, Meowth, Mewtwo, Slowking, and many more, it wasn't that much of a stretch. By the time the curtains closed on the game, I didn't walk away all that impressed, but I definitely want to see more of Detective Pikachu in the flesh. It might be hard to tell from all the promotional material, but Detective Pikachu is very much an old-school adventure game. You'll grab items to use in various, very light situations, solve very simple logic puzzles, and chat with the inhabitants of sequential small sandboxes. The hook is intriguing both from a macro and micro standpoint. There's this huge conspiratorial mystery involving Tim's missing father, which leads him into the family business of detective work, and a more homely setup of only Tim being able to understand a talking, crime-solving Pikachu. The former doesn't deliver, but the latter is something I never knew I wanted until I heard his voice for the first time.
Could it be? A bolt of brilliance!
This hard-boiled and sarcastic take on Pikachu is fantastic, as he's equal parts cute and insufferable in the best sort of way. There's gobs of vocal work too, much more than I thought there'd be, and the team strikes a good balance throughout even for normally throwaway characters.
What? No way! You don't know the team of Max and Chatot?
Well, sorry, I've never heard of you. I've never heard of you. I've never heard of you.
Great. There's really no need to rub it in, Chatot.
Wow, that was my voice.
The engine is doing some heavy lifting on 3DS, and after getting over a notion that a lot of the NPCs look like straight-up Disney characters, I went with it. However, that cheery veneer doesn't really translate to the sometimes rote gameplay. Even in the later missions, you're going to be spending a lot of time quizzing NPCs for specific keywords, going back to another NPC after collecting said keyword, and repeating the process. While the voice work script has some pep to it, the text is generally droll, so while you don't have to worry about hardcore retro pixel hunting madness, the scale tips too heavily on the other side of the equation. It's a lot of fixed situational stuff, like distracting an NPC who's staring off a witness, that sort of thing. Some of it works logically, some doesn't, and in those moments you'll feel the burn of gating. Maddeningly, there's moments where you're right next to a conspicuous item that you know is going to be important, but you can't pick it up yet because the game doesn't want you to. Still, like Pikachu's in-game bolts of brilliance, nailing a solve is always satisfying, especially when you're gifted with a cute cutscene reward. A few cases are lighthearted fare like errand running, and several are Scooby-Doo-esque whodunits, complete with a satisfying meddling kids rant at the end. And now I just worked myself up and want a good Scooby-Doo game.
Am I glad he's frozen in there and that we're out here and that he's the sheriff and that we're frozen out here and that we're in there and I just remembered we're out here.
QuickTime events, the bane of some folks' existence, manage to stow away here. But as always, I am a dirty defender of them if used tastefully, which they are here. Although I never got to the point of wanting to put the game down, the main cast is too darn charming for that. Detective Pikachu limits itself to a fault. Areas could stand to be more open, and I could have used a lot less plot build-up and a lot more payoff. Things start to get interesting around Chapter 7, of 9 in total, and leaving it on a major unresolved cliffhanger is an act of cruelty.
Doesn't this feel fantastic? This boat has 400 horsepower, you know?
I can feel that!
This is what I was worried about.
I want to see a lot more of Detective Pikachu despite my misgivings with its 3DS debut. I just hope the next game is a little more fleshed out and doesn't tease us so heavily. But developer Creatures was able to build the skeleton of a low-key adventure romp. But for more written reviews from Chris Carter and other talented staff, be sure to head on over to Destructoid.com.
You do a pretty good job mimicking me, I'll give you that. But if you don't mind, I'd like to see what you look like under that cloth.